figured you'd like it. I am. Does look cool at night though. What?
I did the slow-mo on the fireworks. I have like the cool slow-mo video of our
Come here, look at this. I can change the mode.
Alrighty, and we're back. So, up ahead on our right-hand side, gonna see building up there. It's very well lit up with those setbacks. It's got that triangular-shaped roof and a statue up on the top. That's the Chicago Board of Trade, designed in 1930 by firm Halliburton Root. That statue up at the top is Ceres, the Roman goddess of grain, wheat, and agriculture. We get our name from cereal after her. But that statue of Ceres doesn't actually have a face. The artist who put her up there said that nobody could ever build anything taller than that, so actual quote, why bother? Interesting, because it's dwarfed by a lot of buildings around it, but at the time he had a pretty good point, because for a quarter century at 45 stories, the Chicago Board of Trade was the tallest building in the world. Speaking of tallest buildings in the world, up ahead on our right-hand side, right in front of the Willis Tower, you're gonna see that building is very well lit up there with that cylinder, that glass cylinder up top. That's 311 South Wacker Drive. 311 South Wacker is the tallest building in the world that doesn't have a name. It only goes by its street address of 311 South Wacker Drive at around 57 stories or so. Up there at the top, the glass cylinder is the brightest point in the skyline at night. When they let it all up white like that, it's got 1,400 different light fixtures that really make it act like a beacon here in the south end of downtown. They can also set it to any color of their choice, so if any sporting events or any holidays or anything happening in the city, they can set it to whatever they want. Alright, here we go. Time to talk about it. There it is. The Willis Tower, the second tallest building in the United States and the tallest building in Chicago. 1,457 feet, 443 meters. Designed by Skidmore, Owings, Merrill, and Bruce Graham. Engineered by the Einstein of Structural Engineering, Dr. Fosler Khan. It's basically indestructible. The base of the Willis Tower is made out of 2 million cubic feet of concrete, which is enough concrete to make a 5-lane highway for about 8 miles. It's also surrounded by 28 acres of that thick black aluminum stretched along the outside. That's roughly the size of Grant Park. And it's done in Dr. Fosler Khan's proposed tubular banding construction, which means that it's not necessarily one building, but the Willis Tower is very technically 9 different 75-foot tubes, or boxes, all banded together for extra durability and support. A lot of people ask me the same question. They say, Alex, why the name change? It used to be called the Sears Tower, now it's called the Willis Tower. Still called the Sears Tower, really depends on where you're from. Anyone from Chicago still calls it the Sears Tower, pretty much out of spite at this point. But I'm contractually obliged to tell you the name of that building is the Willis Tower. The Sears company had a lot of upper floors in there. They moved down in the early 1990s to try to save some money. The British insurance group, the Willis Insurance Agency, came in and said, we'll take 3 of those higher floors, and we also want to renegotiate the naming rights for 20 years, and we wanted to sell those floors real bad. We said, okay, and that was that. The Willis Insurance Group, just so you know, is the same insurance group that insured the Titanic. Yeah. Let that sink in for a little bit. I got one more, it's pretty bad. You want to hear it? Yep. They got those naming rights, and they'll never let go, Jack. Alright. So, if we look up towards the top of the Willis Tower, you're going to see 4 glass boxes up there. Might see some flashing lights. Go ahead, take their picture. I'm sure they're taking yours. Up there on the 103rd floor of the Willis Tower, called the Sky Deck, where you can walk out of the Willis Tower into a glass floor, glass walls, glass ceiling, and look around to see the entire city of Chicago laid out all around you. Not only can you see Chicago, but you can also see Illinois, Indiana, Michigan, Wisconsin, and on a clear day, if you're lucky, a little bit of Canada. All from the vantage point towards the top of the Willis Tower. There are 2 express elevators that will shoot you all the way up to the 103rd floor. So definitely worth checking out while you're in town. One of those things that you just gotta do when you come to Chicago. Over here on our right-hand side, these are the Hartford Plaza buildings. And the one I want to talk about was the first one that came up here in 1972. It's this one up here on our right. It's got this white concrete cage on the outside. Designed in 1972 during an energy crisis in the city, the white concrete cage helps solve that problem in 2 ways. Number 1, provides a bit more extra shade in the summertime, so you save some money on cooling costs. Number 2 is actually easier to clean your windows, because all you're going to do is rotate the windows 180 degrees, clean them off the inside, flip them back around. That way, it wasn't mandatory to hang expensive electrical cleaning equipment off the outside of the building, so you ended up saving a whole lot of money in the long run that way. And up here on our right-hand side, the Chicago Mercantile Exchange Center, designed in 1979 by architects Fujikawa and Johnson, 2 40-story office towers with an 11-story connector piece for speed and trading floor. The corners of these office towers here are serrated, which allows for 16 corner offices per floor, to make as many people as possible feel as important as possible. So these 2 towers, when they first came up, had a huge design flaw that the engineers missed, which caused them to start bending outwards to a big V shape, which is horrifying. So to fix that, what they did is they cantilevered every floor from the 1st to the 28th in 1/8 of an inch. And then from the 29th to the 40th, out 1/8 of an inch. So in essence, towers went from a V to leaning in a little bit to straightening back out, fixing the problem, at least for now. They say that if everybody and everything left those towers, they would inevitably go back to that V shape. So nobody in there is ever allowed to leave. Over here on our right-hand side is the Chicago Civic Opera Building, designed in 1929 by Graham Anderson Probst and White. A beautiful building on the inside and out, back and front. A bit of an architectural anomaly in Chicago because there are 2 distinct styles of architecture on one building. On the back here facing us had this beautiful Art Deco with the strong vertical lines, heavy emphasis on ornamentation. But out front, though, that we cannot see along Wacker Drive, is this gorgeous French neoclassic facade, a nod to the classic French operas of old. Beautiful colonnade up there on Wacker Drive as well, so if you guys are ever around the area, make sure you stick your head on the corner and check it out. Very beautiful. And on the inside, too, it's got a 3,500-seat auditorium for the Chicago Lyric Opera, who's in there today. The Civic Opera Building, though, has a bit of a sad story to it. Half of the entire thing was funded by one guy, Samuel Ingersoll, who could afford it, though. I mean, he was the richest man in the city in the 20s. He owned all the utility companies and had amassed a fortune of around $65 million. Put $30 million of his own money into the Civic Opera because he said it would be a great investment. The first show to go up for the Civic Opera was Aida, which is a great show, except that one specifically, kind of not so much. Got terrible reviews. Nobody went to see it. And to top it off, Aida went up 6 days before the stock market went down. Yeah, things didn't work out so well for Samuel Ingersoll. Something he thought was a great investment ended up making him $14 million in debt, forcing him to leave the country with his wife and daughter. On a brighter note, on our right-hand side, very important building in downtown. Not a lot of Chicagoans know the importance of the building in their own backyard. Right up on our right-hand side, it's not the Starbucks, there's one next to it, is this red brick building here on the corner, the Great Lakes Building. The Great Lakes Building up here is also the oldest building that we're going to see on the tour today, designed in 1902 by George Nimitz. But the building itself is actually not as important as the land the building is built on top of, because it was right here, in this spot, in 1860, we built a temporary building called the Wigwam, in which we held the 1860 National Republican Convention, which is why we nominated a man from Springfield, Illinois, named Abraham Lincoln, to run for the 16th president of these United States. He actually only won by 4 votes. Ohio changed their mind at the last second, which allowed him to clinch that crucial victory by 4 votes. So right now we're heading to the junction of the 3 branches of the Chicago River. You missed the view last time, you get another chance to see it up here. We're going to get another view of the city here pretty soon. Going to get a nice downtown skyline view. So look forward to that. It's going to be coming up here pretty shortly. Up on our right-hand side, 333 West Wacker Drive, Cone, Patterson, and Fox, 1969. The curved green glass here represents what you call contextualism in architecture, meaning when the shape of a building is inspired by the natural shape and curve of the land around it. In this case, it's inspired by the Chicago River. Its next-door neighbor, 225 West Wacker Drive, up ahead on our right-hand side, is inspired after something a little different, but still just as close to the river. See, up at the top, the whole roof of the building is designed to the shape of one big bridge. Now, the bridge motif is everywhere. Let's go to the steel panels between the windows, the vents along the bottom. There's also a bridge-shaped connector piece between the two towers up at the very top of the facade. Now, they did all of this simply because it's built between two bridges. And we got a lot of bridges in Chicago. We have 38 operational drawbridges, which is the most in the country, P.S., second in the world, losing only to Amsterdam. The most number of bridges in general actually goes to Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. They have 446, but none of those moved. All of ours do.